Welcome back to the Tableau tutorials. In this video we are going to continue with the process of union creation with the tables in Tableau. This is what we got in the previous video, but this was a little bit messy. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna drop this union over here. Okay, so this is the way on how you can just remove the tables. That is, you need to just drag them and drop them over here. They would be deleted. Okay, now what we can do is, suppose we want to create a union. Okay, so we can just double click over here, then click on this drop down, convert to union option. Okay, now what will this do? This would automatically take this orders table in this column or in this menu. All we need to do is drag the second table, suppose the returns table. Now if we just click on apply, or if we just click on OK, then what happens is the union has been applied. Let me just, so you see the symbol has changed to the union symbol. The logical table would be shown as orders, but actually there are two tables present, the orders and the returns table. If you just drag these columns, you see now we have this return column also present there, and it is part of the orders plus value. That means the orders table as well as the returns table. It could be a part of any of those two. Okay, if I just go to this particular column and click on describe, then it tells us about something, that it is a discrete dimension, it's a database column. And the remote column, if we talk about, it gives us the name of the union, that is orders plus the name of the union dot returned. That means the name of the union dot the name of the table. If in case we had just the table, the value shown over here would be returned dot the name of the column or the name of the table. Okay, so this is what we have been getting over here. There are two possible values, null and yes, over here. Okay, so that's how we can work with the unions part, but we can just remove it and work with the simple single data source. Right now we would be working with multiple data sources, but later on in the tutorials, first of all, just a simple single data source. So that's all that we needed to know into this data sources screen. Now let's go to the sheet screen. If you just see over the bottom left corner, you will see that data source is written, and this is where we are currently present. We have seen everything that we needed to know about here. Yeah, actually one thing is left, and this is this data source order. So by default you have this value selected to the data source order. However, if you check, there are different things present, like the ascending order. If you want to select the data in the ascending order, then that is selected into the ascending order. If you want it in the descending order, then that can also be selected. Now what is changing over here is the column names. Like you can see, year is at the first position. If you just select A to Z, then category is in the first position. So that's the way through which the columns are being organized. If you select the data source order, so it would be in the same order in which they are occurring in the data source. Furthermore, if you want, you can just organize them on the basis of the table, but for that purpose you need to have the unions part or multiple tables present, which we are not working with right now. Now if you want to work with the single values, like we have the customer names. If you want to organize it in a particular kind of fashion, there is this three icons. You can just select. This is sorted in the ascending order, A, B. If you just click it once again, it would be sorted into the descending order. Again, if you just click, so it would be in the random order or the order in which it occurs in the data source. So these are the values which are available in all the columns which you can use. Okay, now that's all for this data source. Let's move to the second option, that is the sheet option. This is just like the Microsoft Excel sheets, that we can create worksheets in Microsoft Excel. Similarly, we can create sheets in Tableau, and this is the place where we would be working mostly, because if you want to create any of the visualizations, this is what you need to use. Okay, so let's not just focus on all these three things, because they are not needed at the moment. Let's just focus on this sheet column. Okay, the first thing is this menu bar, where all the different options are available, which we would be exploring along with understanding their functions. And this is the toolbar. Some of the handy tools are available to us for usage. Here is this tab which is really useful, the data tab, which gives us the information about the table and the data source from where that table has been taken, like the orders table from the sample superstore data. We can just filter any of the columns. We can search these columns. Suppose I want to search for the city column, I can just search for the city column. Okay, if I want, I can remove that. If I want, I can just filter that. These are the criteria to be filtered: the calculation, the dimension, the measure, and the comment. Now if we talk about the dimension, these are the dimensions that we are having. If we remove it and talk about the measure, so these are the measures we have. The dimension refers to the discrete dimensions and measures refers to the continuous measures. If you remember, we talked about two things in the starting, and the sales was in the continuous values. It has been represented by a green color in Tableau. That means it has continuous values. However, other things which are a part of dimensions, actually let's just select dimensions, they are represented by the blue colors. That means they have discrete values which are not related with one another in any form. Next we have the calculated field or the calculations. So this is the year, because this is something we calculated, and if you remember, instead of the orders it had calculation written in it. So this is shown over here. And the last but not the least, we have comment, which is no matches because we haven't added any comments yet. Next is this view data option. So if you want to view the data similar to the previous one that we had, you can just view the data. Okay, and then we have this drop down which actually cannot be used right now because there are a bunch of things which we don't know right now. So the only thing that we can work with is group by option. So group by data source table. If there are multiple sources of table, then that would be used. Right now it's rhetorical. Next we have is the sort by name or the sort by data source order. So right now the columns are sorted by name, like category, city, etc. If you want them in the data source order, you can just select that, and that's the way through which they would be sorted. That's totally up to you. That's a personal choice. If you want to hide the unused field, that means once you have created a visualization and you don't want the unused fields to be shown, you can hide them. You want to expand them or collapse them, that's also you can do. But what I'm gonna do is just go with the default options. Next we have the analytics pane that helps us to perform analysis, like the simple linear regression analysis, the clustering analysis, etc. The simple algorithms of machine learnings can be implemented in Tableau really easy. The box plots, the constant line, average lines, the quartiles, etc. can everything be created through Tableau, and the analytics pane or the analytics bar is what we would be using. Next we have is this pages pane. So pages actually refers to the individual bars and visualizations. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is grab some data so that you would be able to understand. Now this is the part of the visualization creation, so understand it. It's really simple. Suppose I want a bar chart to be there with the subcategory wise sales. Okay, so this is my column subcategory. What can I do is I can just drag it and drop it into the columns part, right? So this is the visualization that has been created, that is actually trying to get created. Next I want the sales, so this is the sales one. This I can just drag into the rows. As soon as I do that, this is the bar chart that has been created. Okay, so this is how simply you can create a visualization in Tableau, and there are a ton of things that we need to do. But before that, let's talk about this pages that we were discussing. You see these individual bars, these are called pages in Tableau. We have the filters pane. If you want to apply any kind of filters, you can apply them using this filters pane. This marks controls the way how this visualization looks or what information it depicts, like its color, its size, what information it depicts in the form of labels, in the form of tooltips, and in the form of details. Also what kind you want. Suppose you want a line chart, so you can just control it from this particular way, from this particular menu. Okay, these are the different things that are available. Of course we would be looking at all of them, but automatic is the one that you should go for, because it automatically selects the best one for the data that you have dragged and dropped. Next is the rows and the columns, that selects what data goes into the rows, what data goes into the columns, and this is the place where your visualizations would be shown to you. So that's all for this video. In the next video, we would be discussing more about the visualization creation process in Tableau.